Good evening, everybody from Dome Academy. I think I'm live. Facebook has this way of liking to trick us because there seems to be a huge delay on my lives every time I do them. And it's not just me, I know that it happens to other people as well. So it tells me I'm live. It's not actually coming up in my group on my phone as yet. So if anyone can say hello or let me know that I'm actually live, that would be absolutely amazing. Um, if anyone could just actually say hello to me, just drop me a comment so I know I'm live. That would be brilliant. Um, or Wendy, if you're here, maybe you could just send me a message. That'd be really useful. I think I am live. Yes, thank you. Wendy's just sent me a message, so I'll get started because she can obviously see me despite me not being able to see myself. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks, Wendy. So I'm here again live with another little mini live for those of you interested and want to listen and learn a little bit. I've done a couple of other little mini lives, one last Tuesday and one I think it was Wednesday the week before, which I have actually recorded and now are also available on my YouTube channel if anyone missed them and wants to go and have a little look. At my previous two lives that I've done over the last 2 weeks. And then tonight is just following on from those two lives, really. And I promised you last week that I was going to introduce a little pattern game to you. So that's what I'm going to do. But I wanted to talk a little bit as well first about reactivity, frustrated behaviour, over arousal. It all comes from the same place, really, and it can look very, very similar. And it can be really hard for us, can't it? Particularly reactivity. Reactivity is really hard for us. And believe you me, guys, I know because I've not just helped many people with reactive dogs and Dobermans over the years, but I've had a couple of reactive Dobermans myself. Many of you may be familiar with Keedy's story, the boy that came to me um, with a bite history. He'd bitten three people, and his future didn't look very, very clever, really. So I took him on. I knew the dog. I took him on from his owner, and he was actually one of the best dogs I've ever had. He was absolutely amazing, and I've shared his journey in group elsewhere if anyone's interested to go and see that. Um, yeah, so reactivity, I know from personal experience, is literally one of the hardest behaviors for any of us to have to deal with this. And any of us humans, the human end of the lead. And you may never have given it any thought before. You may never have thought about reactivity before until you got this dog. And now, when your dog starts reacting and becoming over aroused or is acting up, as I say, out of frustration or over arousal, you often will find yourself reacting too, don't you? We get stressed. We might get stressed at the very thought of going out for a walk. If that's how you feel, guys, share with us in the chat. Let us know. Do you get stressed at the thought of going for a walk? Quite often when our dogs are barking and lunging, our hands will tighten, will become rigid, will tighten on the lead. Every single time as well that we might spot another dog, another person, a jogger or a squirrel, whatever it is that triggers your particular dog. Um, it can be really, really, really difficult. And I get that. I know that because I've had Dobermans over 40 years and they've not all been little angels. Some of us might even worry about what our dog might do. And I know when I had Keedy, that was one of my big worries, which is why I muzzle trained him and I used management for a very long time whilst I was working really hard on the training in the background. Do you ever think, guys, what if my dog hurts another dog? What if my dog hurts a person? And it doesn't have to be intentional either. If our dog is out of control or escapes or gets loose, what if someone gets in the way and gets hurt by accident? What would happen then? What might happen if something does go wrong? Do you worry that your dog might be taken away from you and that you might be prosecuted? These are genuine worries that people with reactive dogs do have. I know that. And they're nightmare scenarios, aren't they? They're just nightmare scenarios. So is it any wonder that, when our dog does feel a little bit out of control with reactivity or whatever, it's so hard. It feels so hard. And quite often we want to just give up, don't we? We just want to give up. But even if you're sure your dog will not do any actual harm, you can still be totally embarrassed and compromised by how your dog carries on. I've been in those shoes plenty of times, when your dog's everyone else's dog's behaving and your dog is acting up in public. It really, really, really is difficult because reactivity type behaviours are very public, aren't they? They're really noisy. They're very obvious behaviours. We can't hide them. It's really hard to hide them, especially when you've got such a big dog as a Doberman. It's a little, say, a little Yorkshire Terrier. Nobody really takes any notice, do they? But with a Doberman, it's a different kettle of fish entirely. It really is. And it's really, really hard. And I get that. And when you're cringing, whenever you set foot out of the house with your dog, again, it's not surprising, is it, that it's so difficult? And there are other reasons that many of us may not have even thought of, that we find it so hard. We all get our dogs for a reason, don't we? And maybe, you wanted to be able to go on those lovely long walks with your friends. Maybe you wanted to compete in a dog sport. Maybe you just want to be able to go for a break with your family or friends to pubs and cafes and be able to take your dog everywhere with you. Maybe you've got a family and you wanted your dog to be a good companion for your children growing up. But we all have these dreams. We all have different dreams. We all have this notion in our heads as to what our life's going to look like when we go out and get a dog. And when the dog you've got, or the dog you've ended up with, doesn't fit in with those dreams that you had, then obviously it's really disappointing, really disappointing. And believe it or not, we can go through a grieving process, guys. We can feel really low, really down, and not really understand why. And that's quite normal. If you're feeling like that about having your dog, that's very, very normal. And you're not alone, not by a long, 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 long way. What's important to acknowledge is how your dog's behaviour affects you, and be kind to yourself. That's something we always, we're emphatic about at Dobe Academy, is being kind to both ends of the lead. Really important. Remember, this is not your fault, and it's perfectly normal to feel any or all of these things that I've briefly spoken into just now. But the important thing to know is you can absolutely turn all this around if you want to. You absolutely can. I know you can because I've done it for many, many clients, and I've done it for myself. I've done it for my own dogs. It's really, really important to understand that whilst your reactive dog might be challenging, he's got the ability, or she's got the ability, to teach you far more than any easygoing dog or any dog you've ever owned before ever has. You've got choices as well, guys. You can get help with training. You can embark on our reactivity program here, where we will help you learn all about yourself and your dog in depth. You'll learn more about how you react to situations and how to change that, and more about dogs as well than you ever, ever, ever had before. I promise you that in our reactivity program, there are things that are really enlightening, that people who've had dogs for years say to me, I didn't know that. I'd never learned that. I didn't know that before I came to you. The bond you'll build with a reactive dog as well, if you work through, training, is going to be so much stronger as well as a result. But how can I change? Everyone wants to know that, don't they? How can I change this behaviour? We actually, here at Dobe Academy, we use many, many, many different strategies, and we coach our owners step by step, holding their hand with huge support between our live sessions as well. And we coach our owners through the stages of learning step by step. and that will help you teach and reach your goal with your dog as well. You know, it's a lot of it is about helping you to understand what's going on and helping you to help your dog change. Yeah, really, really, really important. Some of the stages, I've listed them here. Some of the stages that we work through are safety, first and foremost, safety for the dog and safety for you. Everyone has to feel safe because it's really difficult to learn if we don't feel safe. That's the same for you as it is for your dog. Your dog feels exactly the same. So we have to ensure both ends of the lead feel safe. So we start to work on that. We have a look at health because that's really important. There was a study done not so long ago whereby 80% of reactive dogs were found to have a hidden health issue that hadn't come up before. So health plays a large, large part. It doesn't necessarily cause reactivity, but it can certainly contribute towards overreaction, for example. So we have a look at health. And there are lots of different ways that we help people with going to the vet and getting diagnosis. We look at calmness because, as I said before, I'm always saying, in fact, Dobermans, as we know, are 0 to 60 in a nanosecond due to their breed. We know that. It's hard for them a lot of them to be calm. So there are many measures that we put in place, lots of different ideas and skills that we'll equip you with to help calm your dog down. Then we build in some essential life skills for you and your dog. Really important that we take care of these. And essential life skills, there's many different games and information that we share with you. In our syllabus, there are 160 different videos, and they're all instructional videos, and a lot of them are obviously demonstrations as to how to teach things to your dog, how to teach you and then you teach your dog. So a lot of them are instructional videos as well, building in essential life skills. And of course, when you're working with us as well, you'll find that when we're working on essential life skills, your loose lead, things like your loose lead walking and your recall, for example, will improve, just as a matter of fact of being in the program and learning about what the essential life skills are. Taking care of breed needs, that's really, really important because, going back to the beginning, safety, good health, calmness, we need to be able to take care of our dog's breed needs to ensure that we've got the first, it's part of ensuring we've got the first three. And then we work on building relationship and connection. It's so much easier in the real world if you have a really, really strong bond, a strong connection with your dog. So we give you lots and lots and lots of advice and help as to how to build that as well. And then finally, the triggers, the real world practice. We support and help everybody in our programs as to how to cope out and about in the real world. And that includes as well, when other people are out and about with their dogs being irresponsible, we'll skill you up with regard to a lot of things when you're out and about, and that not everything is within your control. And by working through a program built specifically to help your dog learn to change his association to what is currently triggering him, help him to learn self-control and help him to focus, and by specifically building in the skills he needs to be able to do all of these things when he's finding things challenging, you can absolutely help your dog and yourself as well to start enjoying your walks without the stress. And that's what we all want, isn't it? Most people I speak to will say to me, I want to be able to walk past another owner and another dog calmly without my dog reacting. And that's a perfectly reasonable request, isn't it? And it's certainly achievable for most. Now to the fun bit. Last week I mentioned pattern games. And pattern games are really important because they give you and your dog a familiar, easy structure to work within when you find yourself in a challenging or distracting environment. They're simple, rhythmical behaviours that actually require very little training. They're very simple, very easy, but they provide a safe thing to do when things do get, a little bit worrying. And they all involve, I think I said last week, they all involve some movement, which is often easier for your dog than being still in potentially challenging situations. Because what happens is, I see it happening all the time out and about in public. If our dog is wanting to bark and lunge, we'll often try and pull him in, get him to sit, get him to stay still while the oncoming dog passes us. And that's the worst thing for him, because if he's anxious or worried about this dog approaching, the last thing we want to be doing is making him sit still while the scary thing comes closer. Pattern games, importantly, provide movement. They actually provide, this one I'm going to tell you about tonight, will allow you to walk calmly past other dogs. So it's important, that they are well practiced, really well practiced. So they're easy for both you and your dog to just pluck out of, your toolkit, as it were, but that you can pull together even when you're under pressure. And most dogs, once they've learned these games, most dogs feel relieved when they get to play their game because it's safe and predictable. And instead of going rah rah rah, they can go, oh yeah, I can do this instead. When we've done everything I'm talking about and we've introduced these things and we've practiced and proofed them. And they can help you get out of trouble. This game can absolutely help you get out of trouble because it can allow you, as I say, to walk past other dogs or wait calmly. If you can slide up a drive, you can play it as other dogs pass you. It involves movement. They can also help your dog relaxed as well, pattern games, when your dog is over aroused. Helps your dog feel more comfortable about things that concern them, as I say, because they get to play this game, which is really rewarding when challenging things appear. So over time, pattern games help reduce your dog's overall reactivity or overexcitement. I use pattern games all the time in my training. Um, and my clients in my programs love them just as I do. If I go to the park and I'm going to do some training, I'll play what I call the ping pong pattern game to warm my dog up first, get my dog focused, get my dog's attention. Um, but importantly, these games form just a fraction of what we can do and enjoy with our dogs that will make walks so much easier and more enjoyable. They really are good pattern games. But I'm going to give you a pattern game tonight. They really are, I'll emphasize this, they really are only just a small part of the overall picture when we're dealing with reactivity. So this game may help you a little bit. It's not going to cure your dog's reactivity, so don't expect that it will. Okay. If your dog is truly reactive, truly frustrated, truly overexcited, you need to follow through a whole professional behavioural modification program. But the 1, 2, 3 game is loved by all, and that's what I'm going to introduce you to this evening. And you can start practicing at home where you should practice it, and then put it into use when you're out and about. So let's talk about the 1, 2, 3 game. It's a great pattern game to play, particularly when you have to move your dog from A to B calmly and safely. So as I say, it can enable you to pass something scary in the street or to get out of a tight situation. So what you're going to do is you're going to teach your dog to walk beside you whilst you repeatedly count 1, 2, 3. Sounds mad, doesn't it? But it's really simple and really clever, really clever. So to teach it, you're going to need some of your dog's favourite easy to eat treats. Yeah. And you need to initially choose a location to train where there are no distractions and where your dog feels safe and comfortable, such as your home or your garden. This is where you start. And first of all, you're going to make the word 3 really meaningful to your dog. So it's kind of like a marker word. So you start with a handful of treats and you literally say 3 in a cheerful, cheery voice before giving your dog a treat from your hand. And what you're going to do is repeat this several times so that your dog begins to make an association between the word 3 and the treats arriving. Okay, first step. Once your dog has got the hang of that, and only when he's got the hang of that, and he's starting to look for that word 3, you're going to add 2 into the sequence. So you're going to count out loud 2, 3. Okay, 2, 3. before giving your dog the treat. So your dog's going to be listening for that word 3 and getting used to hearing the words 1 and 2 beforehand. So we're going to repeat until your dog is looking expectantly at you whenever they hear 3. All right. So you're going to progress obviously to 1, 2, 3 before giving your dog the treat. So that's step 3. All right. And as I say, we want to make sure our dog is looking expectantly at us whenever they hear 3. All right. The game is fantastic too to help with loose lead walking. I love it for this because, of course, once your dog has learned the game and he's walking alongside you, listening to you counting 1, 2, 3, and he's looking at you for that treat, okay, lots and lots and lots of practice. What we can start doing once we've taught it and we've proofed it in different locations as well, we can start to count more slowly. So your dog is walking further, a longer distance between the treats on a nice loose lead because he's looking for that 3. So it's brilliant loose lead walking game as well. All right, gang. And of course, I mean, it's a brilliant game. It's a brilliant, brilliant game, and it has so many different uses. It's unreal. It's just one of the 160 videos that we provide owners with in our reducing reactivity syllabus that we coach you through and we support you through as well. So of course it's just one little exercise that we demonstrate and give full instructions for. Okay. It's obviously taught, as I say, amongst our step-by-step coaching to help make change. But give it a go, see how it works for you, and let us know here in group how you're getting on with it. Particularly if it helps you with some loose lead walking, that would be absolutely awesome. So that's our little pattern game for this week. And for me, it's really important. Focus in relationship always comes first because no matter what your dog's issues are or your issues are with your dog, if you've got focus and if you've got relationship, then calm, happy walks will follow. You're not going to get calm, happy walks if, every single time you're going out of the house, your dog is even pulling on the lead, for example, because he's overexcited or it's just something that happens because it's been happening for a long time. So that's my little mini live for tonight. I hope everyone has enjoyed listening. I really, really do. If you're watching on catch up, do stop by and say hello because I would love to see that people are actually watching the little lives that I'm producing. That would be really, really cool. And don't hesitate to get in touch if you'd like help to achieve your, if you'd like our help to achieve your ideal goal. There are plenty of posts in this group from clients that I have previously helped, just giving you an idea as to what it's like to work with us. You're not alone when you work with Dobe Academy. Our community groups and Wendy and myself are there every step of the way, helping you with whatever issue it is that you have with your dog. And in our reactivity program, we cover so many different topics: traveling in the car, going to the vet, getting your nails clipped, multi-dog households, to name just a few. Yeah, introducing a new dog, introducing a new person, to name just a few. The program is so full and so thorough. I can promise you that you will never have experienced anything like it before. I'm pretty proud of what we've built. So if you'd like to know more, we start on the 20th of October, reducing reactivity. If you'd like to know more about it, just simply book a free call in with me. I'm going to post the link for booking a free call and also the link for signing up to the program above this live. The program is 8 weeks long. You get that full and thorough syllabus, which you get to keep for life. It's yours for life. You get our support. You get the coaching sessions weekly, of course. Everything is recorded, so if you can't attend one of the live coaching sessions, it's no big deal because it's recorded and popped in your syllabus the same day. So you've got that, you've got the syllabus itself, and then you've got the community support group. So in between the lives, whatever whatever issue you may be having, whatever problem you may be having, if you have a question, you get to ask your trainer. It's like having your trainer on speed dial 24/7. Wendy and I are there for you throughout that entire 8 weeks on a daily basis. You have access to us when you're in that professional program. So I'm going to drop the link for the program if you want to sign up. It's £450 and it's all inclusive of what I've just spoken about. So I'm going to drop the link for that above this as well. And as I say, if you want to have a free 15-minute discussion with me, if you want to know a little bit more, that's brilliant. And I'll put the link for you to book a call in with me as well. So finally, do have a go at the 1, 2, 3 game and let us know how you're getting on. If you're brave enough, feel free to post your videos in group and tell us how you're finding it, or ask for any help if you get stuck, or if you want to know a little bit more about it. We're here to help. And I hope you're enjoying our free group and also the little mini lives that I'm doing currently. Thanks for being there, everyone, and it's been lovely. So hopefully I'll see some of you in our Reducing Reactivity program as well. Take care. Bye.